Today, we're talking about something that confuses a lot of men and quietly frustrates even more of them. The topic is this: why some women can't and won't let you go, even when they're not truly interested in being with you. This isn't about chasing romance or proving your worth. It's about psychology, emotional attachment, and patterns I've seen repeatedly in real conversations, behind closed doors, where people are finally honest about what they feel, but don't say out loud. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever felt like a woman keeps you emotionally close, checks in on you, reacts when you pull away, yet never fully commits or moves things forward, this video is for you. And before anyone gets defensive, this isn't an attack. It's an explanation. Understanding this dynamic can completely change how you see past situations and how you move in future ones. From my experience working with men over the years, this pattern shows up more often than people want to admit. A man will say she's not interested, but she won't let me disappear. And when we slow things down and look closely, what's happening isn't confusion, it's comfort. Emotional familiarity can become a psychological anchor. Letting go of someone who provides stability, validation, or a sense of control can feel harder than entering something new. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes you're not being held on to because you're desired, but because you're useful in an emotional sense. You represent safety, attention, reassurance, or consistency, and losing that can feel threatening, even if the romantic interest isn't there. That's not manipulation in a cartoon villain way. It's often unconscious, learned behavior driven by fear of emptiness or loss. This topic tends to stir strong reactions because it forces men to confront a hard truth. Not every connection is about attraction. Some are about emotional regulation, some are about control without commitment, and some exist simply because letting go would force someone to face themselves. By the end of this video, you'll understand this pattern clearly, without anger, without blame, and without confusion. More importantly, you'll understand where you fit into it and what to do next. 1. Emotional comfort without emotional commitment. When men hear this phrase, they often think it sounds cold or calculated, but in practice, it's usually neither. Emotional comfort without emotional commitment is one of the most common dynamics I've seen play out quietly between men and women, especially when a connection never fully becomes a relationship, yet never fully ends either. It's subtle, confusing, and powerful precisely because it doesn't feel intentional at first. In simple terms, this happens when someone feels emotionally soothed by your presence, but has no real intention of building something deeper with you. Your voice calms her, your attention grounds her, your consistency gives her a sense of stability. Yet none of that automatically translates into desire, partnership, or long-term intention. Emotional comfort can exist completely, independent of romantic investment. In sessions, men often describe this as feeling kept around. They aren't ignored, but they're never chosen either. There's communication, but no progression. There's warmth, but no direction. And the reason this is so hard to walk away from is because emotional comfort feels meaningful. It feels like closeness. It feels like connection, but comfort is not commitment. And confusing the two is where many men get stuck. From a psychological perspective, emotional comfort works like a nervous system regulator. When someone is anxious, lonely, overwhelmed, or uncertain about themselves, familiar emotional access becomes soothing. You may represent predictability in a world that feels unstable. That doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't make her cruel. It makes you part of an emotional pattern that serves a purpose, just not one that moves you forward. What makes this dynamic controversial is that it often benefits one person more than the other. The person receiving comfort gets relief without responsibility. They don't have to invest deeply, risk vulnerability, or make hard decisions. Meanwhile, the person providing comfort stays emotionally available, often hoping that patience or understanding will eventually turn comfort into commitment. This is where men tend to personalize the situation. They assume they're not doing enough, not saying the right things, or not proving their value clearly. In reality, the role has already been defined. You're not being evaluated as a potential partner. You're being experienced as an emotional resource. And resources are hard to give up, even when they're not desired in the way you want to be desired. Understanding this isn't about blame, it's about clarity. When you see the difference between emotional comfort and emotional commitment, you stop chasing explanations and start observing patterns. You begin to notice whether someone moves toward you or simply reaches for you when they need relief. That awareness alone changes how you show up, because once you recognize the role you're playing, you get to decide whether you want to keep playing it. 2. Why your presence feels safe even without desire. This is one of the hardest concepts for men to understand, because it challenges the idea that emotional closeness automatically equals attraction. It doesn't. Safety and desire live in different parts of the human psyche, and confusing the two keeps a lot of men emotionally tied to situations that never evolve. From a therapeutic standpoint, emotional safety is about predictability, familiarity, and low emotional risk. When a woman feels safe with you, it means she knows how you'll respond. She knows you won't embarrass her, pressure her, disappear suddenly, or create emotional chaos. Your reactions are steady, your tone is familiar. Your presence doesn't threaten her sense of control. That safety can feel deeply comforting, especially if her past experiences involved inconsistency, emotional volatility, or disappointment. Here's where men often misinterpret the signal. Safety feels intimate. It includes personal conversations, vulnerability, shared routines, and emotional check-ins. To the man experiencing it, this can look like closeness that should naturally lead somewhere. But safety alone doesn't spark desire. Desire usually involves uncertainty, polarity, and emotional risk. Safety reduces risk, and in doing so, it can remove the tension that fuels attraction. In many cases, I've observed a man becomes the emotional home base. When life feels overwhelming, she reaches out. When she needs reassurance, she checks in. When she wants to feel seen without being challenged,